Keep on forgetting to share my screen. This is where we were. I want us to talk about what we call math operators, and you allow me to use a few of these. I want to use a scanner, but anyway, just leave it. Math operators usually come in handy, especially when you're dealing with numbers, or mostly when you're dealing with numbers, because you may want to make a category, group a number, then use it maybe to check to satisfy a certain condition, and they usually come in handy. And even for your project, I think that's what you need to know about math operator, especially one we usually call it modulars. So math operator include the addition, we have the subtraction, we have this slash back for what we call it's not actually division. Okay, division. Then you have percentage, or modulars in calculus. It's not called percentage. And then you have the last one, we call it multiplication. It's an asterisk. Shift 8, or if you have a longer keyboard, it's usually found there. The first three and the last one, you know it. Here katikati kidogo ina confuse watu because you're not so common with the what a modulus is, but don't worry, I'll be able to cover all of them in a few minutes. If I'm very fast, you will tell me. So I'll make a few variables here. I'll make that one is, let me create new ones. Int num1, like no, int num1 and num2, like so. Let me comment this one for now. In num1 and num2, then I'll have int result. No, you can add it here. Declare kila mahali. Okay, then num1, I mean, you can assign num1 to something like 6. Then we can assign num2 to something like 4. Not 4. 2, not 2. 5, not 5. Okay, 3. It's a good one. Then result, you know what addition does? Addition of num1 and num2. So then, as I've said, remember to be terminating your statement. Then we'll want this program to print out the result. The addition of those two numbers. 9. So 6 plus 3 is 9. That one we know. I don't need to explain a lot. Then the other one was difference. Difference the subtraction. Shift F6. So 6 minus 3, and the difference of 6 from 3 is 3. That one is correct. We have this one slab for division. The name is quotient. The name is quotient, but the division, but the actual name is quotient. Quotient, shift F6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. That one is correct. What about multiplication? What about multiplication? So shift F6. 6 by 3 is 18. So that's how they work. Then if I try a number like, which number is indivisible by? No, let me try a bigger number. Let me try, instead of 6, let me use 15 or 16. 16. Then multiplication, of course, majority penny. Let me use division. I mean quotient. Shift 6. So you can see that there's a mathematical error. 16 divided by 3, it's giving us 5. And we know it's 5.33, I'm a 503rd. And the reason as to why it's doing that is because we are using integers, and we said integers are whole numbers. Integers are whole numbers, that is 1, 2, 3. So we can divide 16 by 3, it will give us a, of course it's 5.33, but it can't give you that because it's an integer. So instead, it will give you a whole number, which is 5. If I change a variable type from integer to double, you'll notice a change. Now it's giving us the exact value, 5.33333. If you change to float again, it will give you the same. And that's usually the difference. When you're dealing with numbers, please note when you can have decimals, when you can have long decimal, and when you're dealing strictly with whole numbers. For instance, if I'm dealing with age, I'll prefer to use int because we can't have, no, I'm a number of people, let alone age. Number of people, when I have a number of people, I can deal with integer, just in case nipate a fraction, it able to cover up that error. So if it's 5.8, it will give me something like 6. I might truncate it, but if I, because you can't have 5.8 people, can't have people in fraction, unless it's 5.8 million people. Okay, fine. Then this last one, this last math operator, it's called a modulus. Like so, to me a percentage sign. What modulus does, modulus will give us a remainder of. So when I divide 16 by 3, what is the remainder? That is what modulus will give us. So it's giving us 1.0. Why? Because if I divide 16 by 3, I'll get 15 because it goes there 5 times with a remainder of 1. So modulus inakupatia what we call the remainder of a quotient, or the remainder of a division. Which other math operator? I think those are all. They're usually 5, and I've given you 5. That is addition, difference, product, or multiplication, quotient or division, and modulus. So modulus will give us the remainder of a number. If I try 3, if I return 6 here, the remainder of me dividing 6 by 3 is 0. So we expect a 0 as the remainder. So actually, I'm giving you a hint on how you can tackle your week 2 assignment because it's talking about prime number generator or prime numbers between 0 and that. If you haven't checked out the week 2, check it out. Apart from those ones, there's something else we call an incrementer. Incrementer, you can increment a number. You can increment by adding. You can increment by decreasing the number, or you can increment by adding, subtracting, and multiplication. In short, any of those 4 operators I gave you. So to increment a number, there are a number of ways you can do that. There is a shorter way, a longer way, easier way, harder way. So let me have a number like, let me comment this one. We have number 1 here. So if I want, number 1 is 6. So if I want to increment number 1 by 1, I will simply do a plus number 1, like that. So what that plus does, it increments number 1 by 1. So plus number 1, that means increment number 1 by 1. So if I try to run that, let me see. It's supposed to give us 7, but number 1 was 6. Why? Because before Tony print out, there was an increment. It was 1 was added on top. You can do this, and someone else can do like this. So what this one will do, it will have number 1 first, then increment. Let me see if I'll have the same result. I'll have the same if I have a variable, because nikiongeza before na after ni same too, because bado nazirun hapa. Allow me to not use this one. Let me use this printing out. So I increment number 1, then print out. Because of course this one you know it's 7. If we try this one is 6. That one is 7. But if I try to increment after printing out, it will print out num1, then increment. Like so. So it's still giving us 6 as much as to may increment. Why? Because it may increment after Isha print out. So if I type another print statement hapa, and forgive me, I'm usually lazy in typing. If I use this one, the first one will print out num1 as 6. The next one will print num1 as 7 because it was printed 6, then it got co-incremented. Then after co-incremented, that's when we're printing it out. So you'll have 6 and 7. Another way of doing this is by, let me uncomment this one. You can still do, because unaweza increment by 2, you can still do num1, then you say plus num1 plus, or num1 equals to num1 plus 2, plus 2. What this one will do, it will increment your number by 2. The first one, if you want to increment by 1, bala plus num1, you can still write it as num equals to num1 plus 1. Allow me to comment this one first. Let me go first to 1, like so, and run this one. Of course, this one, it's 7. So the same na increment, the same na hiyo tulikuwa nafanya hapo before. Let's go to num plus, the same. It's the same thing. Okay, let me comment that one. But if you want to use a bigger number, to increment by 2, by 3, by 100, by any number you want. So this is the way you can do it. Or, so this is the longer way. The shorter way, you can still write, okay, allow me to comment this one because I don't want to delete. The other way I can increment is by doing num1 plus equal sign equals to 1. What this one means is still the same as this one. It will increment by 1. So if I run this one, it's supposed to give us 7. Bingo, 7. If I want to increment by 2, I simply write num plus equals to 2, and this one should be 8.0. So that's what we call the incrementer. And instead of using plus, you can change to negative ni sawa, ama multiplication ni sawa, it will work. Change to negative like so. If I try to run it, it's supposed to give us 4.0. Of course, because num1 is a double, that's why there's that decimal point. So, guys, that is how we do it. That is how it's done. And it's called the incrementer. It's usually very useful, especially if you can learn a statement and loop. Yeah, very, very important. So anytime utakuwa naandika plus 1 and kuambia incrementing, you need to understand what I mean. And this is what I mean by incrementing. Okay, now I want us to deal with what we call statement. And I don't know if time will allow us, but if it allows us, I'll talk about if statement and switch statement, both of them. So allow me to create another class. So right click, new Java class. I'll call this one statement. Is a statement a long name? Yeah, call it statement. In your discussion this week, you're talking about naming rules of variables and classes. So make sure you check some of them here. Public, static, void, main. Hiki tukizoea utakuwa na struggle nayo sana. Then hapa ni string, square bracket, gs. So then of course where my code will go. Okay, it's supposed to be void. Bad typing error. Okay, we usually use statements in coding in any programming, that is, when we want to when we want to run a code, depending on some condition. If that condition is satisfied, we shall run that code. If it's not satisfied, we shall do something else. Ama we shall run something else different from that. And we use statement to do that. So anytime, for instance, you want to grade a student, kila mtu ako na marks yake average. Kuna ule ako na 50, kuna mtu ako na 90, kuna mtu ako na ngapi. You want to give them the letters, the letter grading. Huyu akuwe na A, huyu akuwe na B, huyu akuwe na C. So you'll use a statement such that if someone has, I'm already using it. Okay, if someone has an average of, let's say, 70 and above, you give them an A. If they have 60 and above, you give them a B, something of the sort. So to do that, tunasema tunatumia statement. So today we're going to use if statement, and allow me to use, can I use a scanner? Okay, so I'll use a scanner. Scanner SC equals to new scanner. Then in bracket hapa ndani, usually type system dot in. Then remember to terminate that one and to import like so. So that first. Then we shall be checking age. Let me do something simple. Now go and age. If someone is above 15, they're eligible to use Facebook. If someone is below 15, they are not eligible to use Facebook. So I'll use int age equals to, of course, we shall be getting the age from the user. So sc dot next int like so. So user to enter their age. We can use system.printout and say enter your age. Just something simpler. Enter your age. And then the length of the age. Then hapa chini, here juu nimeweka tu for formalities, don't worry about it. Down here, I'll now put my statement. So this is the syntax of using an if statement in Java. So the first thing you type if in small letters, you put your bracket, then your curly bracket. Your condition in ikikuwa satisfied, you'll run that code, it will go to that bracket. Then your code that are supposed to be executed when that condition is met is supposed to go inside the curly bracket. So if age is greater than 50, because we're checking if a user is eligible for Facebook. If age is greater than 15, that is 16, 17, 18, they can use Facebook. So what we shall do here, we shall tell the system to, so system.print out. So the system will print out you are eligible, not anything, you are eligible for Facebook. You can have 1,000 of codes inside here. Then the if statement usually go with what we call an else. That is, if that condition is not met, what are we supposed to do? So by default, if I leave it this way, if this condition is not met, my program will stop there. I didn't because I haven't told it. But if I want it, if that condition is met, it's not met, if I need something else, you simply add what we call else. So else, then your curly brackets, your code will go inside your curly bracket. Allow me to copy because I'm a lazy person. System will print out. It will indicate something like, okay, they're not greater than 15. That means parental guidance. Like so. I think my typing is correct. Okay, so what is happening here? We are checking if this variable age meets this condition of being greater than 15. If that is the condition, if it's satisfied, I mean, we shall run this code. If the age, for instance, one reason or the other, is below 15, we shall tell them parental guidance. That means they are not eligible for Facebook. So let me run this one. What's your age? Of course, you're using a scanner, so it will pause. My age is 23. and it tells me you are eligible for Facebook. That means my condition, my age in a satisfy the condition. Then let me tell you, my kid's age is 2 years. Parental guidance, that means you are, oh, it's okay. It's okay, you don't need permission to do that. Huku watu wanatokanga tu. Anyway, I was explaining this one. So 2 is less than 15, so parental guidance. What if I use 15? What if I use 15? 15. Parental guidance. What's he giving me parental guidance? Because the age is supposed to be greater than. It's not 15. It's greater than 15. That means from 16. So that is the if statement. We shall talk about nested if statement in the other week, tukiongelea about classes and method. For now, it's just this one is enough. So you can go ahead and practice with these statements. Create your own program, do something for fun. You can make a calculator in a certified mtu akiweka number which is greater than 50, it will multiply if it's less than something. But if you have several conditions, we usually use what you call if else. So instead of else, tunakuwa na kitu hapo inaitwa if else. This one is for a different language. For Java, it's else if. When making condition, else if, then a condition here. Else if, let's say, if age is greater than 10, yeah, so like that. So if you have a number of conditions, tunatumianga else if, else if inajiongeza hapo. So you can add another else if here. Else if, so else if inachukua the same syntax as the if statement, is just one long statement. So else if age is greater than 10, that means okay, it's greater than, it's not greater than 15, that means lesser, but it's greater than 10. They can access Facebook, but under parental guidance. Else if the age is less than 10, less than 10. So if they are less than 10, what should we do? Oh, it's age. If age is less than 10, what should we do? We shall say, do not use Facebook. Do not use Facebook. Like so. So let me run this one and try it with my son's age, which is 2. Do not use Facebook. Let me try it with someone who is around 12, 15. Someone is 12, greater than 10. So eligible, but yeah, parental guidance. Then someone who is older, someone right from high school, that is 17, 18, they're eligible for Facebook. So in simple words, that is how we use the if statement in Java. So it's if in bracket your condition, in curly brackets your code. So your code can be anything. There's a code with more. You go and do practice, because I can do every instance. Diagram commercial, kind of hard kiasi and long pia. Plus it's very hard to anticipate what can come ahead. But anyway, you do that. So the other thing, because I'm introducing some new things here, there are some things we call logic operators. Logic operators, or sometimes you can call them comparative operators. They include less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, I mean, and which other one? Equal to, not equal to, yeah. So we call them logic operators. And allow me to create another class again for that, and I think that's where I'm going to stop from, because without time will give me. I don't know, nikigo na time I can cover switch. logical. Just call the class logical. Of course, we need to have a public static void main. Then upon the string AGS. Then outside we need to have our curly brackets, right? So okay, we have our main method is there. So nikicomment you won't be able to see because it's grayish. So I was saying you have that is less than. That is less than left. This one is greater than. Then which other one? We have less than or equal to. We have greater than or equal to, and that's how they're written. We have equal to. If something is equal to, you put two equal signs. Then the last one is not equal to. Not equal to, use exclamation mark with an equal sign. That means something is not equal to the other one. I'm saying I'm alone in this class, but no worry, because of those who will watch this video later, I think I can the only participant. But anyway, for the sake of those who want to access this video later, I think let me just continue like I have a crowd. Though I'm talking to myself. So, oh, sorry, these are the logical operators we use in Java. So let me demonstrate how to use. Oh, my time's even coming to an end. So we usually like using them in statements, because the logical operators are comparative operators. They're used for comparison, and hiyo ndio kazi ya statement. Statements kazi zake tu ni compare two things or two items. So anytime we need to compare, we shall need this logical operator. Is it equal to? Is it greater than or equal to? Let me make a very simple if statement. Let me say int age equals to, let's say 20. But minus equals to 20. Then if age is equal to if age is equal to 20, what should we do? We shall run some code, or else we shall run some other code. So if age equals to 20, what are we gonna do? If age equals to 20, we are going to let me print something out. Something like you are eligible for Facebook. If you are not, if age is not equal to 20, say you are not eligible. Of course, this one we know it will run you eligible. Anyway, let me know. You're eligible for Facebook. Why? Because age is exactly 20. If I put it 21, like so, it's now saying you're not eligible for Facebook because age is not equal to 20. Then if I use if age is not equal to 20, so anytime your age is not 20, it can be less, it can be greater, but it's not 20, like 21, you will be eligible for Facebook because age is not 20. What if age is 20? If age is 20, that means this condition won't be satisfied. It will run the if else. That means you will not be eligible for Facebook. So basically, that's how they operate. If I want to use if age is greater than or equal to, that's how I use it. For greater than and less than, usually put it before the equal sign. Kama hapo sasa, if age is greater than or equal to, so lazima uanze na hiyo greater than and equal to. You can't start with if age is equal to or greater than. It doesn't work that way. Okay, I know some language it works either way, but in Java it doesn't work either way. It has to be that way. So those are logical operators. We usually use them along with statement because statements in a test if a certain condition is met, and testing if condition is met, that means we are comparing. So that's where they come in. So I want us to talk about switch statement in like 6 minutes if it allows. If it won't, I'll make a very special video for that. I'm at the next class. We can do that because we have one more class this week to cover loops. So maybe for your class. Anyway, let me quit talking. So switch statement works the same way as a if statement, but switch statement saves you the time of repeating yourself. Right? So kama uko na a number of conditions, let's say for grading, kama uko above 90A, if above 80B, above 70C, as we move downward. So those are a number of conditions. If I'm using if statement, I'll say if average is, if average is greater than 19.8. Else if there'll be, I think it's a lot of code. So to make it simpler, you can use a switch statement instead. So let me make hope 5 minutes be enough. So let me make a scan here very fast because I know I'm alone. So I doubt someone will complain I'm slower. Let's see equals to fast I mean. But if you're watching a video, you can easily pause and check whatever I've done. Okay, put this one, put. And down here, we shall be talking about what? Double. Double is PL. Double average. So that it becomes SC dot next double. We're seeing next double, of course. We're seeing next double. We need that one. Of course, prompt the user to enter something. Eh? Enter your average. Enter your average. Enter your average. I'm chasing time here. Just enter your average. Then delete this edge. So you shall use a switch. So this is the syntax for switch. Though I'll have to repeat it because I know the remaining time won't be enough, but this is how we use it. So you put those statements, then your code will go in that bracket. So switch and it's small s and capital. In bracket, you put your variable to be compared. Then inside these color brackets, we have what we call now cases. Eh? Now, if case 90, that means if your average is 90, what shall we do? Can I try and see if it will work with greater than? Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, so if your average is 90, we shall do some code here, then break. So let me just write it and I'll explain. Then we shall have a case. Can have case 60. I just want to have a number of them. Then break like so. And possible conversion of into where do we have it? Oh, 0.0. 0.0. Okay, shift and enter. My screen sharing has stopped. Let me just go back. Apparently that command will stop my screen sharing, and I want to use it anyway. So, anyway, still I can make it in 2 minutes, but in the next session, please be able to attend so that I can explain a switch statement because I've explained much about an if statement. So I'll explain what a switch statement does and how to use it, then to jump a few examples. Then from there, I think we'll be fine. Then in the next session, we shall be talking about loops. This week was variables, loops and statement. We talked about variables in the first session. We have talked about statements in this session. The last session, which is on Monday, according to the schedule, we shall be talking about loops. Then I'm sure loops doesn't take much of my time. I'll cover something little to do with the switch. Then any other business we shall have, we shall be able to talk about it and to touch up. But for now, for those few examples, I've shown you how to print, how to get something input from the user, how to use those math operator, if it's modulus or addition or multiplication or product or quotient. That program we make a simple calculator. Please go and make yours, and make sure you do a lot of practice in this, because once you have a GUI or an interface ya mbele, backend, what you usually do is just the same thing you're doing. Hakuna any difference. There's no magic you usually do apart from this. This is the same thing you're doing. So in simple words, I'm telling you, what you're learning is what we call back-end coding. So from week 3, we shall be learning about front-end coding. Of course, tutakuwa tuna mix now our back-end skills to see if you can make something beautiful. So for now, because my time is up, that is it for now. And until our next class, and unfortunately, nimemaliza hii class nikiwa peke yangu Kareme, no, I understand today is Friday. So until next time, adios muchachos. Peace.